Hello again my friends, this is the Boyne's Dog and welcome to the channel where I talk, play, rank and review about games on the Evercade old and new. In today's episode we're doing my final thoughts on the Indie Heroes Collection 3 and ranking all 13 games therein. You know, on the one hand it is quite nice that there's been a bit of a chasm sized gap between releases, so I've actually had time to go through all the games, but also I want bloody Tomb Raider and the new Pirate EXP. We'll start with the rankings and then I'll leave my final thoughts to the end of the video. Though I will start off by adding, there were no games I disliked in this collection as there's nothing inherently wrong with any of them. So as usual I had to just go with which I like more and get a bit picky. And there is another element to take into account with a lot of the games in this collection: game length. Always remember these are just my personal opinions and sometimes I love a game for a silly reason, let's be honest. Let's get stuck in. In last place at 13, because there had to be one, is Chibi Monster Brawl. It was actually quite a fun little game with slightly wonky controls and a lovely basic aesthetic. It's more for multiplayer than anything as there is no progression at all, just choose your character, how many players and 1 of 4 stages, then fight for the through. The highest score wins the round, then you're back to the title screen and that's it. There's little to no reason to return in single player, however, after getting your head around the later stages, so that's why it's in last place. In 12th place it's Magic & Legend Time Knights. Quite the charming little adventure, again a very basic design with a very simple objective: kill all the enemies and get to the exit. And you can finish it easily in one sitting, not that long at all. What makes it a little more interesting is there is a little story again told quite charmingly, and a time travel element where you visit different time zones, but with the basic look somewhat obvious when and where they are set, but some you wouldn't know if it didn't tell you. Each zone giving you a different weapon, but that is a visual only, and you can switch between your character at any time, which is nice. There are also some cool bonus stages that are their own very mini game. I wish they amounted to more, but you can't really complain. Again, it seems like a great foundation to work on. All in all, not a waste of your time, even if you may not return. Oh, and a very nice little Doctor Who nod at the end there as well. And in 11th place it's All Body Binder's Tale. Quite a polished and cool game, giving me Mega Man vibes. The only reason it isn't higher up my list is it's not hard in the conventional sense. There is a layer of frustration, especially with unfair enemy placements in some levels. It gives you new moves after beating bosses and they are implemented kind of well, but there are times when for the life of me I can't see a way through without being hit and losing a precious life. And if you've made it near the end of the second part of the stage, it will send you back to the beginning of the first part on the continue. I know I need to do better. Look, I have to find a reason to put games lower, alright? In 10th place is The Little Tales of Alexandria. This game is another one and done. A single sitting or a couple if you didn't find the secrets. I think I may be still missing one. It won't take you long to see most this game has to offer and gameplay is limited, but there's such a charm to it all and the idea is sound and could be worked on to make something richer. If there was just a little more to it, it would be even higher, but it does get extra points for so many cats, especially some whose mask momentarily slips and they have to remember to meow. That got a chuckle from me, and for the ideas within this alone, it had to be in the top 10 at least. And in at number 9 is Doodle World Redrawn. On first view this looks exactly the same as the previous incarnation, but things have slightly changed. You can now double jump and the levels have been slightly redesigned to accommodate this. It's definitely not as easy as the original, so anyone frustrated with the ease of the original will at least get a bit more challenge here. And it's a fun one to try and speedrun and 1 credit, but in the end it really isn't hugely different enough from the previous iteration, which is why it's still enjoyed but not higher up the list. And in 8th place is Bubble Seahorse Adventures, a fun polished little platform game that reminds me more than a little of the All-Stars version of Super Mario Bros. With loads of secrets to uncover, the downside is it's very short, and just when the stages are getting really interesting, we come to the end. Because of the promise of more secrets, the game will drag you back a few more times to check you've really found everything. Loads of charm and a great visual style, definitely not one to be missed. It's just too damn short. And again, if it was longer, it'll be higher up the list, because I had so much fun with it. And in at number 7 is Big to Small. There are 4 puzzle games in this collection and they're all great. This one has you trying to land your 3 animal buddies on their preferred food. It can be frustrating at times and will take a lot of trial and error, extra points for having a bonus path for each stage to give you a reason to go back. And guys, there are map shenanigans afoot. Bonus points. Still, this is one I sometimes need to walk away from. I can't play too many stages for long before needing a break from it. But I always come back. It's a decent size too, and there is a little bit of a story going through with the 3 animals having their own personalities. And at number 6 is Skate Cat. You control a cat on a skateboard. No notes required. Joking aside, I don't know why I ended up being so addicted to this game. The controls are slidey, the graphics are functional at best, and a llama gets killed in the opening. I think it's a llama. But there's a charm to this game, and I am a sucker for the Kubo series. Sometimes games just hit the spot for me, and this one did that. And we're now in the top 5, and in 5th place is Choo Choo Mimic. It's low tech, so I'll be very surprised if I wasn't a fan, and a fan I am. Though it's not my favourite puzzler in this collection, there's 2 more to go. Or my favourite from low tech, I adore Flea, and my absolute favourite is Tapeworm. This is still a great puzzler with your mission to guide a would-be hero but soon to be launched into the mouth of a mimic, a treasure chest with teeth. Trying to grab all the coins on the way because it makes them taste even better. I'm guessing they are chocolate coins, you know, like the kind we used to get in nets in our Christmas stocking. A fun, decently sized puzzle game that takes time to work each screen out, making it one of the more sizable games on the collection, which, let's be honest, with this set it's needed. And in 4th place is Thunderpaw. What a wonderful little game, very basic in its premise. Kill all the enemies to open the exit. There are also a set number of bones to collect and a single canister filled with green liquid. Sadly, the second 2 items don't unlock something interesting if we get them all. It's just an extra life every time you collect a certain amount of bones, and they continue once you gain a certain amount of canisters. Still, it's something else to hunt for. The game can be tricky. There are a selection of difficulty settings if you want to make it easier or harder, and a selection of weapons you can power up a little by collecting items enemies drop. But getting hit and you'll have to start collecting again to power up. Also, the music is damn bloody fine. We finally reached the top 3, and in 3rd place is Bone Marrow. I wasn't sure about this game to begin with. It's a sliding match and tile game. By moving 2 of the same type into each other, they merge and increase in strength. And you can keep doing this. There's food, defense and strength. You can also fight enemies, and your character levels up to a max of 6. Then the boss arrives. The areas get progressively trickier, with the final one meaning you have to be spot on with your item leveling and collecting in a much smaller area. It becomes so addictive. I will win that final round one day, but the game is so enjoyable, so I don't mind how many attempts it takes. And it's worth having in the top 3 for the audio narration that opens the game alone. actual perfection. And in second place is Alien Cat 2 Enhanced Edition. The game that makes my eyes cross over and maybe even bleed. Okay, maybe not to that extent, maybe. When you've got 4 cats on the move trying to keep them all safe, it really is a thing. But I somehow love it. Not a huge improvement on the original other than a lick of paint, some Sonic shenanigans and a few more levels thrown in to boot. But it's enough for another excuse to delve back into the mind-melting world of clone cats, fish bowls and spikes of doom. And so of course that means in first place is Donut Dodo. So the cover star of the collection ended up being my favourite. A great game where you can simply try to collect all the items and finish the level, or drive yourself potty trying to get them all in flashing order. It's definitely worth doing that in as many stages as you can from the start, as those extra lives will be needed for the later stages. What makes it even more fun is it's native, so there's no save states. You have to see how far you can get in one sitting and do it well. I always come back to this game, normally have a bash of this and bone marrow whenever my Evercade sniffs the car. Also, recent update means it works fine on your Super Pocket now, which is great. It definitely seems like native games are the ones that can cause a few issues on that, innit? And there we have it, my ranking for the 13 games on the Indie Heroes Collection 3, and my thoughts on the collection as a whole. Well, I would say there are no massive highs on this collection, there are no lows either. The only issue being quite a few of the games are very short, but all bundled together as a collection makes it a non-issue really, which is what's great about having collections to begin with. There is more opportunities to have short interesting games, or downright weird ones, or cranky as hell ones, because you still don't feel shortchanged, as long as they are balanced with some titles of a bit more meat. And there is some meat here, just maybe not as much as other collections have offered. So overall, what did you think of the Indie Heroes Collection 3? Do you agree with my ranking? Or for you, is it completely off? As always, I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you made it here to the end of the episode, thanks ever so much for joining me. Leave a thumbs up or comment if you'd like. Either way, I've just chuffed your picture head in for a goosey gander. As always, I hope you're having the most awesomest of days, my friends. And until next time, be seeing you.